In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to connect Mail Opt-in to Salesforce. So we'll begin by setting up the integration. So let's hover over Mail Opt-in and we'll go to the integrations option. Now on this page, we need to scroll down on the left and select Salesforce. For me, it's already selected. Here we'll need to enter a consumer key and consumer secret. And right above, we have the instructions on how to do so. So I'm going to quickly jump over to Salesforce. And on this page, we'll need to go to the settings icon and click on Open Advanced Setup. Now on the left, we'll need to find apps under Platform Tools. Here we'll go to App Manager. And we'll need to create a new application. So on the right, we're going to click on New Connected App, create a connected app, click on Continue. And then we just need to wait a few seconds until we see the next steps. So here's what we need to do. We need to enter a connected app name. I'm going to call this, Mail Opt-in X Salesforce or something. The API name is automatically generated. So now I'm going to add an email address. If you want, you can add a contact phone number and all of this, but we can go ahead and skip this. Let's also enable auth settings. We'll need to add a callback URL as well. But for this, we'll need to go back to our Mail Opt-in settings. And we just need to highlight this URL right here. We'll copy it and go back to Salesforce and paste it in this field. Okay, now we'll go ahead and configure our auth scopes. So let's find full access and we'll click on this right facing arrow to add it. We'll scroll down to find manage user data via APIs, which should be here. I'm going to click on the right facing arrow again. And the final one should be perform requests at any time. So we're going to click on this and add it as well. Now, once that is done, we can uncheck this box as well. And we'll scroll all the way down to click on the Save button. Next, click on Continue. And on the next page, go to Manage Consumer Details. Next, you'll need to enter the verification code, which was sent to your email. So enter it and click on Verify once you are done. Next, you'll need to copy your consumer key. Go back to Mail Opt-in settings and paste it in the consumer key field. And repeat the same steps for the consumer secret. So once you're done, go ahead and save your changes and you should see this authorize button. So go ahead and click on it, then click on allow. And that's all there is to it. Salesforce is now connected to Mail Opt-in. So we can now go ahead and test out this integration by creating an opt-in campaign. On the left-hand side, I'm going to click on opt-in campaigns and I'm going to add a new campaign. I'm going to call this one Salesforce. And I will also use this theme. This is the opt-in builder. So on the left, we have our settings and on the right, we have a preview of our opt-in. Now in the design tab, for example, we can make changes to the opt-in's width and we can add a display effect. We can also change our colors, background and border color, and add custom CSS. We can also click on the opt-in's elements to access their settings on the left. For example, here we have the form settings and here we can choose to use custom HTML. Or display only a call to action button. With the regular form settings, we have a name and email field by default. If we expand one, we can see the options that we have. And the email field is quite similar, except it's required by default. You can click on this button to add your own field. You just need to give it a name, for example. I'll call it example. And you can see it right here in the preview, so you just need to fill out all of the other settings. Now I'm going to delete this field. And right below, we'll see our button options. So as an example, what I'm going to do right now is change the color from blue to red. And yeah, that's it. Now I'm going to go back and we'll move on to configuration. And here we can choose to hide the close button by toggling this switch. We can close the overlay on click. We can also add a sound effect and customize our cookie durations. There's an option here to remove Mail Opt-in's branding. It's on by default, but if you want, you can choose to display the branding. Now going back to our main menu, we have the integrations tab and we can choose to display Mail Opt-in's leads only. But for our example, we'll be connecting Salesforce. So let's select it from this list. Okay. And it will ask us for a Salesforce object, which we can select from this list. Let's use contact. Just think of it as a list. Now we can move on to map our custom fields by clicking on this button. And that's if we had custom fields, but in our case, we don't. So I'm going to remove this and we'll go back to the main menu. And here we'll go to after conversion. This is what determines what happens after a lead converts. We can also configure an autoresponder, but we're going to skip all of this for our example. Now let's go back and move on to the final tab. That's display rules. It determines when and how our opt-in gets triggered. So we're using after X seconds. I'm going to move the slider to adjust it from 1 to about 3 seconds. We'll activate the rule and then we can go ahead and save our changes and we'll also turn the opt-in on. We can now go ahead and visit our website to test out this integration. After 3 seconds, we should see our pop-up, and here I'm going to go ahead and enter some random details. I'll click on subscribe now. We should see our success message in a second. Here it is. And now I'm going to go back to Salesforce, and on the left, we'll go to contacts, and we should see the contact that we subscribed. I'll dismiss this, and here it is, Kaden Doe. So our integration is perfect. Now, in addition to opt-in campaigns, we can also use our integration with email campaigns, specifically email automation. We can go to mail opt-in and click on emails. And we already have one automation here, but we can add a new one. I'm going to click on add new. We're going to go to email automation, and I'm going to call this sample. Okay, now moving on, we'll see two types. There's new post notification, which sends an email to your subscribers whenever a new post is published, and then email digest, which is a roundup of your latest posts. I'm going to click on select template, and that will take us to the email builder. So once again, we have our settings on the left and our email preview on the right. We have links to full tutorials on this feature in the description down below, so feel free to check it out. Thanks for watching and see you next time.